1987 Topps Football Cards, 11 Most Valuable. If 1980s hobby trends had you seeing double from all the funky borders, you might have taken refuge in a pile of 1987 Topps football cards. Because while Topps went all woody for their baseball cards that summer, and while both the 85s and 1986 gridiron sets featured experimental borders, the 1987 football set was about as traditional as you could get. That doesn't mean it eschewed all hobby trends of the day, though. Indeed, with the influx of talent from the defunct USFL to the NFL in 1986, there was a flood of new players to cover in cardboard for the first time when the new season rolled around. And Topps did their best to load their 1987 set with every rookie card they could crank out. The result is a list of the most valuable 1987 Topps football cards that's jammed with Hall of Fame rookies and a handful of mid-career denizens. Enough gridiron greatness to satisfy collectors of all ilk. Note, these rankings are culled from PSA 9 listings and the PSA Sports Market Report price guide. For current pricing, see our link in our description. Let's get started. 1987 Topps Jim Kelly rookie card, number 362. So the story goes that Jim Kelly wasn't all that jazzed about playing for the Buffalo Bills when they picked him in the first round of the 1983 NFL Draft. When the USFL came calling shortly thereafter, then Kelly jumped at the chance to call signals for the Houston Gamblers in the Upstart League. In 2 seasons down south, Kelly set most of the passing records in the new league until it folded in 1985. The Bills were waiting with open arms, and this time, Kelly reciprocated that love. Within a few years, he had Buffalo in their first ever Super Bowl. Then they made it back to the big game 3 times in a row. Lost them all, though. But Kelly and teammates like Pete Metzelaars, Bruce Smith, Andre Reed, Thurman Thomas, and Scott Norwood, became Buffalo legends. Kelly made it all the way to the Hall of Fame, where he sits atop this list. 1987 Topps Walter Payton, number 46. Walter Payton ran more than 1,300 yards in 1986, as this 1987 Topps card attests. Then he came back for one final run in 1987 when he went over 500 yards. And then he retired with everything you could want. All the rushing records, a Super Bowl ring, and a sure place in Canton. But you know what Payton didn't have? A career capper card. Yup, this 1987 Topps card is Payton's last base issue. He did get a record breaker card in 1988, by the way, for topping Jim Brown's all-time rushing touchdown mark. 1987 Topps Doug Flutie rookie card, number 45. Doug Flutie was like the Tim Tebow of the 1980s, except short, and probably more talented on the football field. And he won a lot. From that Hail Mary with Boston College to his days with the USFL with the New Jersey Generals, to the Bears, and then to the Patriots and the NFL. Flutie always seemed to overproduce vis-a-vis his perceived talent, even if he understood. 1987 Topps Randall Cunningham rookie card, number 296. So you say you want a big-name rookie from the set who didn't start his career in the USFL? Look no further than Randall Cunningham, who lit up the NFL with his legs and his arm, and totally redefined what it meant to be a mobile quarterback. I mean, future super athletes who plied their trade at quarterback, think Michael Vick, owe a ton to Randall, who nearly ran for 1,000 yards in 1990. Cunningham is not in the Hall of Fame yet, but you gotta think his time is coming. 1987 Topps Joe Montana, number 112. Montana, on the other hand, already had Canton on speed dial by the time this card was issued. And with Jerry Rice in the fold, Montana was about to push through to even greater heights. 1987 Topps Charles Haley rookie card, number 125. Even though he was a 4th-round pick in 1986, Haley wasted little time in making an impact for the 49ers. That rookie season, he recorded 12 sacks, then followed up with double digits in 3 of the next 4 years. A move to outside linebacker in 1988 didn't slow him down much either. After Haley won 2 rings with the Niners, he moved on to the Dallas Cowboys, where he contributed mightily to 3 more Super Bowl wins. 1987 Topps John Elway, number 31. When this card was issued, Elway was a talented quarterback who was soft. In other words, he couldn't win the big game. Things didn't get much better a couple years later either, when San Fran drubbed Elway's Broncos in the Super Bowl 55-10. Of course, just when we thought Elway's story was written, he reeled off 2 Super Bowl victories with the help of Terrell Davis and friends to wrap up his career in 1997 and 1998. Today, Elway is a bona fide football god. 1987 Topps Jerry Rice, 115. Rice gave us the first real hint of what was to come in 1986, his first year as a full-time starter. That season, he hauled in 86 catches for 1,570 yards and 15 touchdowns. It only got better from there for Rice and the Niners, as rings and records rained down like pennies from heaven. 1987 Topps Dan Moreno, number 233. Moreno was like Elway, except with better stats. Unfortunately for Dan and his Dolphins teammates, they never did get off the Super Bowl snide. Never got back to the big game after losing to the Niners in Super Bowl 19. Nonetheless, Moreno set all sorts of records and is an all-time great. 1987 Topps Herschel Walker rookie card, number 264. Herschel Walker gave Bo Jackson some competition as maybe the greatest pure athlete many fans in my generation have ever seen. That might still hold. Walker was also another USFL superstar who made the jump to the NFL, landing with the Minnesota Vikings. Then, of course, Jerry Jones managed to turn Walker into an entire team. Herschel was great when healthy, but it wasn't quite often enough to let him live up to all that potential. 1987 Topps Gary Zimmerman rookie card, number 207. Yet another refugee from the USFL who made good, really good in the NFL and landed a 1987 Topps rookie card. Even though he didn't get started in the NFL until he was 25, Zimmerman turned in 12 stellar years that included 3 All-Pro and 7 Pro Bowl honors. That carried Zimmerman all the way to Canton. Like our video? Then like our video and subscribe to our channel. waxpackgods.com